Okay, so OWCP, pot stock in Israel. It's nice to get a good gauge of some of these stocks that are very beaten down and see if there's potentially some upside in the near future. So obviously the stock on the daily chart has been steadily dropping, 18 cents and just low, 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 low. It's starting to flatten out here this last month and a half. It was below a penny. And here recently it jumped up to a penny. And I thought it was a good opportunity based on this analysis. But, I still think it's a good opportunity for folks, even at the price where we're at now. As of the moment that I'm recording this, we're at around 4 cents a share. I think we could go much higher. And here's why. So you've got on the daily chart the red ADX minus DI line here. The fact that they're pinching down this little V here, while the blue is an upside down V or a mountaintop, that should be pulling the price down. And it really hasn't. It's actually kept, even though it's really hard to see, it's actually kept, much above, mostly above the EMA, the exponential moving average on the daily, and the 9-day EMA. And so it's holding pretty strong. Also, even the days after that, it hasn't closed, even after that breakout up, a penny and a half or whatnot. Then it spent a couple of days still sort of basing, strengthening, and not closing below that red line, that EMA. So I think that's pretty good evidence. Let's look at some more evidence. Well, the fact that this price is sort of trending lower, even though it's these tiny little microscopic moves, because we were sub 1 penny for a while. This stock RSI is showing bullish divergence, so this is going higher as of here, where we're going. There's some bullish divergence there. Also, if you look across the screen about the whole year, you've got the relative strength index strengthening, MACD strengthening, and whereas the price is going lower. So that's divergence on the daily chart. Also, I like the fact that the orange here has sort of been rounding, and it's sort of above the purple on the MACD line. Some divergence here on the CCI. As the price is trending lower, the CCI is getting higher. Also, I like the Arun up down. It's kind of a relatively new part of my analysis, and it's really interesting. So when the blue Arun up line spends a lot of time down, down, down at the zero line, just bouncing, 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 with the conflation of these other technical indicators, it suggests that, hey, I'm spending a lot of time down and I could go up. So if you look over here, it spends a lot of time down, but then when it goes up, that could be a pop, right? That was a little pop right there, right? If this blue goes up all the way to the top, that was a little pop right there. So when the Arun up down spends a lot of the Arun up line spends a lot of time bouncing off that zero handle, and then finally climbs up, we could see a nice pop. And then if it's an actual breakout, an actual bull market, then we see, the early vestiges of what I believe are the early vestiges of what could happen, which is a strong move to the upside. So I like the fact that we spent a lot of time, at the zero line as far as the Arun up line, and then now we're up. I pulled a little bit off because once you hit, then it might not stay up here for long. It might, come back down or whatnot. So I pulled a chunk off, but I still have a decent position on, and I still think it's a good time to buy. And here's why. The weekly chart. So you get an even easier view, hopefully, of the price points. I don't like to buy stocks below 1 penny. just generally. And I don't like to buy stocks that are below 1 penny that have never been up, like at 20 cents or $3 or $5. Um, so, 1 penny is generally the lowest I want to go. I also want to look at this weekly. So the ADX, now that we have the V here on the red line, or like the rounded sort of, I call it a pinch down. But the price isn't falling much. It's really hugging the bottom of the EMA. And even when we snap down here on this line, it snapped back up. So it's showing some resiliency, at least these, 8-9 weeks previous. We're also seeing some bullish divergence on the stock RSI. Now, the stock RSI is a secondary indicator. It's not primary, but I still keep it because here, you could be oversold for a long, long time and the price is still falling. But again, as a conflation, as other indicators, other predictive or bullish indicators, as long as the overall recipe is bullish, then I'll use it as part of my analysis. And so I think this is a good addition. So the fact that we're seeing higher lows on the stock RSI on this weekly as the price is going lower. So we're still steadily going lower, even as we're seeing higher lows on the stock RSI. The RSI, I really like flat boards. The fact that this thing looks pretty flat overall. And obviously here the MACD showing strong divergence. The orange line has actually been above the purple line for a long time and then finally rounded right there above the purple line and then just popped. So that's pretty good, especially as this price is heading overall lower, because here we were at, close to 2 cents. And then now we were, sub 1 penny. But yeah, this is heading higher. Again, the Arun upline, it's spending a lot of time at the 0 mark. I really like that. Increases the odds that, with all these other indicators, bullish indicators, that once this thing comes up, that we could see the price really rally nicely. The other piece, and again, this is just pure technical analysis, as I've said in other videos, obviously I'm looking at some of the fundamental analysis as well, but it's a lot of information, so I really want to focus strictly on the technicals right now, and fundamentals will be other videos, other series of videos as well. So here, again, it is a flat board. I love flat boards. This is pretty flat too, this ADX. And the fact that the blue pinched up, I think is really, really a plus. And the red pinch down, it's like saying, look, this pinch, we always want to follow where the mountaintop is as far as the red. So the red mountaintop is aiming up, even though it's slight. And so that's generally bullish. And like here, 4.4 cents right now as of the moment of this recording. I think we're going to go higher. Where do I think we're going? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We spent a lot of time in oversold territory. Doesn't mean you can't go lower, obviously, but again, flat board, RSI, I love flat boards. MACD, pretty flat here. I mean, divergence, yeah, I guess you could say divergence. RSI is getting higher, MACD is getting higher. But, this price was really, really low as well here. Generally, I think it's positive, though. But I'm more so interested in this divergence, the CCI. It's very stark. We're below the negative 100 line here, well below it, and then just a little bit below it here. So since late 15, we have had the price higher, definitely higher. And ultimately, it's heading lower, but this indicator, these bottoms, feasibly, this should be much, much lower, especially if the price is, sub 1 penny here in this range. And then as well, the fact that the Arun up blue line is spending time below it. This is why I think this could be a sleeping giant. We haven't even come up over 20 or 40 yet. much less 60 or 100. I mean, if we can get if this blue line got all the way up to 100 on the monthly, I might say, all right, let's pull the whole thing off. Depending on the other, the exit indicators, the indicators that suggest, that we overshot the moon. But you don't want to get greedy, especially on these penny stocks. This penny stock is not like Amazon or Apple. I mean, these are penny stocks for a reason. So you want to be really nimble on the entrance as well as the exit. You want to get good price points. But yeah, I really like, so yeah, if we look here, mid 14, we saw this pop. This pop up here went to 50 cents. And so, had we had seen here, to get in oversold here, we're spending a lot of time the outrun upline here, and then boom, the price, that's a big move. That's like a 50x move if we'd stayed in, or maybe even at least, 12x move, 15x move. I don't know exactly how many pennies that is at the bottom there. But I mean, I'm not saying we would have gotten exactly at the bottom. I mean, obviously, it's easy to look back, and hindsight is 20/20. But I love the outrun up down. So here it went down, and then if we got in anywhere here and said, hey, this looks like some divergence, which I don't know for sure if it is or not, but look, this is this is divergence. So this is higher, this is lower, coming down, then boom, that's a monster move. That's a really big move. I'm not betting on $3. And that was, the move on that was like, there was an insider that I think he ended up going to jail. I mean, there was like some drama, but it's interesting because normally I would stay away from a stock like this, where the monster move was because of some, unscrupulous bad actor in these markets that was like, it was like a pump and dump scheme, and he's presumably behind bars now. But, I think a lot of that news has been priced into the market. And I think that, looking at the technicals on all three time frames, it's an attractive enough play. It doesn't mean I'm going to play this thing fundamentally to go up to $1,000 a share. No, I mean, this kind of analysis, the purely technical analysis, I'm playing for a strong move. I'm not playing it to go to $3. If it does, even better, obviously, if you still have a position on. But I think we can see a quarter. I think we can see a quarter. I think we can see 50 cents. So, even here at 4 cents, 5 cents, you're looking at, 5x return. If you got to 50 and you got in at around a nickel, that's a 10x return. Anywhere in that range is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, you don't want to put your retirement money on this. Obviously, you don't want to put all your eggs in this basket. This is a penny stock. But as far as a savvy trade, I think this is a really good trade. I think this could be a good yet volatile trade in the future. And I do think that OWCP sees at least a quarter, possibly 50 cents in the next 12 to 18 months. It could happen faster, but I think in the next 12 to 18 months. Thank you very much.